Jen Smith of Smith Country, and today I am going to show you how to do the foundation double crochet on the JoJo bag. So I have a tutorial on how to do just a foundation double crochet, and if you need that tutorial, that link is going to be on the upper corner. You'll see a picture of it up here on the right. So if you need that tutorial, you can click on that, and that'll give you the specific details on how to just do the foundation double crochet. In this case, I'm showing you how to do it. This process is the same, but it's attached to the bag so that you don't have to start and then sew it on completely. So what we're going to do is we are going to start by yarning over and chaining 1, 2, 3. So we have a chain 3. We're going to yarn over and insert our hook into that first chain, just like we would if it wasn't attached to the bag. Yarn over, 1 loop only. Yarn over, now pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We now have our starting chain and our foundation double crochet, our very first one. So now we're yarning over again, and we're going to insert it into the chain like that. Yarn over, pull through. We now have 3 again. Yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We are going to continue doing that all the way up to the length that we want for the strap. I want to point out there is a huge gap here because it's just attached to this little bitty piece right here. I actually sew this together like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish doing all my foundation double crochets, and when I come back I will show you how I sew that on so that you can see how I attach this together like this so it stays more as a solid piece. Okay, I am back. I finished all of my double crochets for my strap. As you can see, this is a very long strap because when I designed this, I wanted it to be a crossbody. Obviously, if you don't want it that long, just use less double crochets. I also did it this way on purpose because I wanted it to be more adjustable. So we're going to sew a button on here. And when we go to do that, you can actually insert this in between any of the double crochets. And you can go as, you know, you can go all the way over here, you could go to here. So that way it fits better. So what I want to show you right now is what I do before I start tying on the strands for the fringe. I like to sew in this gap right here so that it's more of a, as opposed to just being attached right here, it's more of an attached strap. So what I like to do is starting from this crochet, so that way it's basically it's taking up 2 single crochets here. I sew it through on the top of the double crochet on the strap, and then I sew it through again through the single crochet, and I'm basically kind of weaving this in. As you can see, and then it becomes, as opposed to just being attached on this teeny tiny piece, it's actually more, it's attached onto 2 single crochets now. So that is how I do that part. I'm going to finish off by knotting this and weaving in the rest of this yarn, and then I will show you about the bead slash button that I use to for the strap part. Okay, I finished weaving in the end on my strap, and now we are going to attach the wood bead for the button. So as you can see, I basically folded this in half, figured out where halfway was from the, or how straight across, sorry, from the strap, and put in some more yarn. What I like to do is I sew it through, insert it into the same spot I have the yarn already attached, like that. Now through the back, I come in on a different spot and pull the yarn through again. What I like to do is wrap the yarn around the wood bead a few times so it sticks out a little bit. And it also makes it a little bit easier for somebody to attach it. You don't have to do that. It's just something I like to do. So we're gonna go around, insert it back into the stitch, pull it through, straighten it all out, and then we're going to, I like to insert it into the back of a few stitches, pull it through, and then we're gonna knot it off. So I'm gonna put it back in through there again. There we go. Tighten that up. I'm gonna weave this in, and then when I get back, I'm going to show you how to do the fun little fringe that goes around this. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to attach the strands that you cut. So as you can see, I have a whole bunch of these prepped and cut. I cut out 28. There should be a total of 28 single crochets once you're done, not counting these two over here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go every other single crochet and bring in 2 strands. So I'm gonna show you. So I have 2 strands here, and we're gonna find the middle-ish. As you can see, I am not perfect at cutting and measuring, so we're just gonna do the best we can at finding the middle. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is once we have the middle, we are going to insert into our first single crochet. I always use the single crochet closest to the strap since I'm technically skipping 2 here. We're going to take our hook and pull the strands through. And then once we have a nice little gap, we're gonna grab and pull the knot, okay? Then we're going to skip 1 and then go into the next one and grab 2 more. And do the same thing. We're gonna get about halfway, grab the hook, pull it through. You could also do this way too, if that's easier for you, using your hook. And then you're gonna pull it tight. And we're going to continue doing this, skipping 1, inserting 1 in, all the way around to the end. When you get to this part, you're gonna skip 1 and quite possibly have to put 1 through the other one. So once we go all the way around and do this, I'm gonna finish this off. When I get back, I will show you how to do the knots so you get that really fun diamond shape before the bottom with all the fringe. Okay, I now have all the strands tied on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the diamond shape that you get when you tie the strands together. So in my instructions, I have that you're gonna take 2 strands from one group of 4. And what I mean by that is right here where you tie the knot, this group of 4 right here, you're going to split apart and you're gonna take 2 strands from it. And then you're gonna do that again with the other group. Now, when you go to tie these, you're going to wanna go 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets down. Don't pull too hard or you're gonna end up going like this. I like to do it this way just because sometimes measuring, you know, when you pull like this, you'll say 2.5 inches, but 2.5 inches will suddenly be here instead of here. But essentially, if you were to measure about 2.5 inches, it reaches the bottom of the 4th. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact. That's kind of the fun thing about this. It's just to give you a kind of a gauge of where to do it. So I try to just match that. It's not gonna be perfect. Just try to get as close as you can. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie a knot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the strand through like this. And the way I like to do this is I like to find where I want the knot. And I kind of just try to carefully pull by pushing the knot up if I need to. This is kind of similar to macrame. When you do it, you're trying to adjust the knot to where you want it. So I try to hold this back and then measure that, and then there we go. And now we're going to do the next one. So we're gonna take these 2 strands from the group that we just did half, and we're gonna take 2 more, and we're gonna do it again. So we're gonna wrap around, we're gonna pull it through, and then like I said, just go slow. You don't have to rush. It's not a contest. And it's just to see you know, you want to take your time, because if you pull too tight right away and it's way up here, you're not gonna be able to very easily fix it. So we're gonna, and then once it's kind of where you need it to be, we're gonna pull the two together. And then see, like I said, it's not an exact science, but try to get as close as you possibly can, because the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make the diamond. So we're actually going to we're gonna split up these groups now. So we're grouping 2 from each side together, and we're gonna tie knots all the way around. So when I get done with that, I'm gonna show you how to do the next one, and then we'll go from there. We're back, and we are moving on to the second row of knots. So like I explained earlier, we're going to take these groups that are knotted together, and we're going to now separate the 4 strands into strand groups of 2 again. And we're going to now try to knot again down 4. So counting this one right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 down to the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna grab this one, try to remember kind of where you're at. I like to kind of hold my finger where the knot's gonna be, so I remember where that line is. And again, just like last time, we're gonna very carefully pull this kind of where we need to, so that way we get the knot where we want it. There we go. And I'll show you one more time. And then, okay. Like I said, I try to kind of keep my finger where I know it's gonna be. And then once I get that first knot down, then it's just about trying to match the rest of the knots so they kind of show up as evenly as possible. As I told you before, it's not gonna be exactly perfect. We're not machines, we're human. And so when you do this, as you can see, like all my knots aren't completely perfectly lined up, but they're pretty lined up. So I'm gonna keep going around, following along with these knots all the way over. And as you can see, when you get around, you're gonna have some crisscrossing around the middle of it too. And that's part of the kind of the fun with the diamond of it. So as you can see, as you do it, it sort of creates this really big diamond in the middle, okay? So I'm gonna go all the way around, and when I'm done, we will show you how to do the last knot and then doing the trimming. Okay, so now we are on to the last row of knots before we even everything out. As you can see, I already started, and it's the same process. You take 2 from the 2 groups, or yeah, take 2 strands, sorry, from each knot group and separate them and tie the knots, and this creates that diamond pattern. This time though, instead of going down 4, I went down 3 and tied the knot at the bottom of the 3rd double crochet row. You can go as low as you want, just keep in mind, depending on where you cut your fringe, where that knot lands might be weird. For example, if you tie the knot down here because you want that nice long gap, and then you decide to cut your string right at the bag, you're gonna have a knot and then just basically no fringe, and that's gonna look a little silly. But now if you plan on keeping this and not really cutting it at all, and you kind of like that sort of more rougher unevenness, tying the knot there is not bad. Then you'll have this nice long strands, and it looks really nice. So it's kind of up to you, your preference on where you want them. That's just kind of to give you a gauge of what I do when I make these bags. So then what we do is, after we go through and we once we tie the knots in the groups, then we're gonna go back and even out these lines. So what I'm doing here is I've already started the first few because I wanted to show you how to do it down this side. So as you can see, I grabbed the 2 that are left here, and then I grabbed 2 from the other group, just as I've been doing, but it's down the side. And when I go to tie my knot, I try to be careful not to swing this over to match, because if I do that, it'll actually be too short. And I've done that on accident a couple times. So I just try to, eye it, kind of see if it's even. And it looks like it's pretty darn close. Then we're going to rotate this around. And then we're going to grab these 2 and go all the way around. Then after I'm done doing that, I will show you how I even out the strands. Okay, we got all the way around and we finished tying all the nice knots, and now we're gonna work on the bag part. So just to finish this off, what we're going to do is we're going to trim the strand so we have this nice kind of more even look to it. If you don't want to do that and you kind of like the unevenness of it, it kind of gives it a more organic look, that's completely fine. I just personally like to kind of even it out a little bit. The tester that helped me out with this bag actually trimmed it all the way to match the bottom of the bag, which is completely fine, and it still looks really nice. I have those pictures up on my blog if you want to see. She did a really nice job with it. She picked a really cute sky blue color too. So if that's something that you'd rather do, that's totally fine. I actually like to keep my strands a little past the bag. I think it kind of adds a little bit more to it and kind of gives it more of a boho look. But because I obviously didn't cut these perfectly even to begin with, there's some unevenness in the lengths. So I usually try to find the shortest strands, which looks like it's these ones. And what I try to do is just kind of get a bunch of them together and just kind of in as straight of a line as I can cut them to that strand. Again, it's not going to be perfect, so if you just want to leave it the way it is and say, you know what, forget it, I don't want to risk it, you can totally do that too. So what I like to do is kind of like hair, right? You take all your hair, and not that I'm a hairstylist, so please don't cut your hair this way. But like you see hairstylists do, they usually kind of come out here and then they try to, even it out as best as possible in all their strands together. So that way you have nice, even strands of hair. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna take a few, and not that you can see that. And I'm going to try and even this out as best I can. Again, just trying to be as straight as possible, but perfection is not the key here. It is boho chic, so it's just to look kind of more clean more than anything else. And on a side note, it looks as though I need to sharpen my scissors. So that will be the next thing I'm doing. Sharp scissors are key to any good project like this. Okay, let's see here. Go on this side and we'll do the same thing. Okay. Just kind of want to see where I'm at with everything. Okay, and that particular strand, there we go, it's being difficult at me. Okay, and then there you go, just kind of shake it out a little bit, kind of give it that sort of separation, and there's your bag. Look at that. So, and then for the strap part of it, you didn't have to do a buttonhole because the double crochets are a big enough gap that the wood button that you use and or regular button that you use actually fits in between. See? Ooh. So as you can see, you can adjust this to any length you want. So if you wanted to, a lot of times my daughter actually likes to do this and shorten it out a couple of times. And then she's actually been known to have this wrapped around, say like when she's at school, this goes around her shoulder, and then she's got that and her water bottle in this. This does fit water bottles, and if you go on my blog, I also explain the women at Sage Hen that sell this bag at the Sage Hen Serendipity Boutique also figured out that it holds a can of beer or a can of wine very easily. So yeah, we're Wisconsinites. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that as well. That is it. And this is the JoJo Boho phone bag / water bottle bag.